Welcome, everyone, to the Audit and Finance September meeting, and we will go through our items today. 1.1 is a resolution to accept claims auditor report. Ms. Roaring?
Item 1.1 is the routine items that the 1.1 is the claims auditor report that comes forward every month as a report of the audit that they have completed prior to any payments being made out of our accounts payable department.
Mr. Dore, do you have any questions at all? Okay. 1.2, please.
Item 1.2 is your bills and reports that come forward every month from the treasurer's office.
Do you have any questions?
On that one, I have questions.
Go right ahead.
On questions, or on warrant 26, there's a check. I'm not used to reading these, but I think it's check number 181016 for $73,864 to Shaw Perelson.
Okay.
But on warrant 30, which is 7 days later, there's a payment for the exact same amount for the exact same description, and that's check number 181032. So my question is, did we pay them twice for the same services?
I can't answer that question. That was really a question that should be directed to the claims auditor, who's not here with us tonight.
Well, it's a legitimate question.
Yes, it is, and maybe you could possibly look into that, whether a warrant is the same as a check. Is that kind of what you're asking? One is
Two check runs in a row, August 12th and August 19th, have an identical payment to the same vendor for the exact same amount, 16 checks apart, and on the warrant, it says year-to-date spend on both entries, $73,864, which is a mathematical impossibility since we paid them, according to the check run, 2 checks. So the question is, did we pay them $149,000 in error? Did we owe them $149,000? That's the question.
Well, that's a question that I believe Ms. Roaring would be able to research and get back to us on that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
They do have retainers, though, so it is a consistent amount every single month. One of the lines on that check run is for their tax certiorari services. So it's just their retainer spread over the intervals as prescribed by the agreement that the board has with them.
Understood. But the description is the same. The description still says attorney's fees April to June of 2022 for both entries. So if it's a monthly charge, then it should say April of 22, not April to June, and it's still identical, and it's still 7 days apart. Do they bill us 7 days apart?
There were some late invoices that were received at the end of the year as we were trying to close out, so we were paying in quick succession invoices attributable to the fiscal 21-22 year to make sure that we were made current before we closed our books.
Okay. But we're still going to check into it to see that we didn't pay them twice.
I will have the claims auditor follow up on behalf of the board.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roaring. 1.3, resolutions to declare equipment surplus and obsolete.
Mr. Etrie has identified equipment that the CTE program no longer needs. It's not in serviceable condition, and he's asking to dispose of it.
Mr. Dore, any questions or comments? Well, the only comment I would like to make is now we're getting documentation of what is being declared obsolete and the people signing off on it going forward, which we really didn't before. So I appreciate that we have that trail now. 1.4, resolution to declare technology equipment surplus.
These are items that have been identified by the district's technology department as surplus, no longer in usable condition, and they would like to dispose of those appropriately.
Okay. Mr. Dore? No? Resolution to accept the donation, 1.5. Can you expand on that, please?
If you can give me a minute to get it in front of me.
Sure. I believe these were the musical instruments. substantial amount?
I think the biggest notation here is that we were able, through our fine arts supervisor, to receive new instruments as a donation to our students, and so often we're given used instruments, which are also advantageous, but this will give us an opportunity to circulate these instruments amongst those that are most in need across our schools.
Mr. Dore, any comment on that? Except thank you? Except thank you. Yes, that's correct. Thank you. 1.6, resolution to approve bids.
So we had to put out a portion of the fall athletics transportation bid again. There were some items that were not bid in the first award the board made. So this is the second portion of that bid, and all of these items have now been awarded. So we have transportation awarded for each of the planned trips.
Thank you. Mr. Dore?
No, I read it. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine.
The question that I would have is do you know what the reasoning would be why they didn't bid the first time and second round they did?
So oftentimes when we put out the bids for athletics, they do not commit the first time. It is difficult to know if they will have the drivers and equipment available for some of those trips that are a little further out, so they are reluctant to commit. So we often go out multiple times
Oh, okay.
in our current transportation environment.
Thank you. Thank you. 1.7, care security systems.
This is actually part of the district's Smart School Bonds Act proposal that has been approved by both the board and state ed. This is to acquire sensors and cameras for NFA Maine that will allow for sensing of vaping and things like that occurring in the bathrooms.
Okay. Mr. Dore, any questions? No. Yep. Okay. 1.8, Marshall and Sterling.
1.8 is the district's annual agreement with our third-party administrator for our insurances. They support us with health insurance, workers' comp, et cetera.
Mr. Dore, do you have any questions?
I think my question is, it's a bulk price.
Pardon me, sir, can you turn on your mic?
The microphone.
Microphone?
Okay. I'm trying to remember the number. I think it was $30,000. Does that sound right?
Yes, that's correct.
I get the question was, how do they account for their time, or is it just a?
It's a flat fee structure. There is no accounting of time.
I think a few years ago, we ended up looking for a consultant for all our insurance purposes, and they advise us, beside, there may be insurances, I don't know that we get through them, but they advise us on other types of insurance. Correct?
Yes, they support the district's benefits program as well as our workers' compensation and our general liability insurance.
Okay. 1.9, request for proposal.
The district had to go out and do an RFP for special inspections associated with our May 2019 capital bond proposal that was approved by the voters. We have done that RFP process, and we did make a recommendation for award here for Tectonic Engineering. They have worked with the district in the past. They came forward at or below, in almost every single case, the pricing of the other respondent. So we're recommending to continue partnership with them.
Mr. Dore? Can you just give an example of what type of inspections they might be doing for the district, or they have done?
Special inspections would include steel inspection, soil compaction, concrete, making sure that everything structurally is sound
Okay.
as the building is in progress.
Okay, very good, thank you. 1.10, conference request.
1.10 is a conference request from our Department of Food Service within the Finance Division. We have the opportunity for the school lunch fund to support this conference attendance for professional growth of our managers, as well as for them to have the opportunity to attend the induction of our Director of Food Service into her presidential position for the year in that organization.
Very good. Mr. Dore, questions or comments?
No, we're good.
No? Okay. And it is good that our new Director of Food Services is a national figure in this food nutrition. That's a feather in her cap.
Yes, it is.
Okay, 1.11,
1.11, we have several RFPs that were out that we will be recommending awards for next week. We didn't have the opportunity to get them in prior to tonight's meeting, so they'll go to the board on 9/20. One is for SWIP inspections. This is also associated with our capital project work, and we will be recommending advanced testing for that particular component. They came in significantly below the other two respondents in that area. The next one is for our kitchen equipment repair. This is something that we exceed $20,000 of each year, so we need to go out and do an RFB for that process. We intend to recommend Quality Restaurant Repair. They have been doing work with the district for a number of years, and they were our respondent bidder on this RFB. The last one is an RFB for refrigeration, maintenance, and repair. This is an RFP that we are doing this year to make sure that we are in compliance, as we also exceed $20,000 of expenditures there, and that is intended to be awarded to Daco Mechanical based on their response received this afternoon.
Okay, so those will, on our next meeting.
Those
we'll
through,
have-
yes, they will
we'll
be.
have more information.
Those three will come forward in the September 20th with a resolution to approve those RFPs.
Okay, oh, so it's going to come to the full board next week?
Yes.
Okay. So now, Mr. McCoy, we are looking for an executive session. How's the wording that we need to do for that?
It's for employment history of particular individuals.
Okay, so do we vote for it? Mr. Doré, would you vote for executive session for this Audit and Finance Committee? Yes, we do. This is a contractual obligation. Okay, thank you. I vote yes, too. No, there'll be no action after this meeting, executive session. Thank you.